on spill response. We have different type of spill response here, but basically we will broadly we will take two mainly, oil as well as chemical. So coming to this, these are the topics we are going to have a review on. These first, what we will look on what is spill response. Then we will see what are the common causes of spill, how it's happened. Then what are the dangers when we are dealing with chemical spillage if it will not properly handled. Then what are the route of exposure, how it will go into your body. Then why are chemical dangerous. Then how to prevent spill in any workplace. Here, if you are working somewhere, then how you should have to contain, how should you have to handle the situation. Then how to manage a spillage. Then what are the procedures here in our NC1. In RC1 we will discuss in a very short view. In RC1 response procedures, and at the end what to do in the emergency situations. So as I said, first we will try to understand what is a spill response. So term response, it means something reaction. You should have to react. So if in case of any spills, you are reacting, that is, it's in short, you call a spill response. But we will go through the definition. A spill response refers to the actions taken to control and contain and clean up the hazardous or non-hazardous spillage. But here we will discuss mainly hazardous spillage, such as chemicals, that's also hazardous, oils, and other liquids to minimize environmental damage, health risk, and safety hazard. So these things, there three are very important when you are dealing any chemical spillage or handling any case. Starting from, it will damage environment if not taken properly, then health risk, and the last, it will have also for affect the safety. So first we will try to understand after the definition that what are the common cause of spills. First, inappropriate handling of techniques. If you are not taken care properly, might be it will be cause of the spillage. Then we have the inappropriate storage containers. If you are storing not in a proper, how it should be properly stored? In a drip trays, in a spill tray. Why? Because if in case even not first one is not done handled properly, then if any spillage happen, it will be contained and it will be contained in the spill tray. That's the spill tray you must when you are storing any chemical, any oil. Then damage storage containers. Uncontrolled access to chemical storage. That's why restriction is there. That only authorized person will be allowed to come and handle. Not everyone Tom Dick Harry go and just check and do the things. That's why uncontrolled access to chemical storage, especially lack of chemical related training, which we are going is the one of the part of this. Then lack of supervision. If you are not taking care, you are not maintaining the checklist and everything, then maybe you will suffer with the spillage. Then what are the dangers associated with chemical spillage? First, chemical spillage presents several dangers and can be serious risks to health. It depends upon the type of spillage. For example, if you are dealing with non-hazardous, then it will not impact largely on your health. But might it will come if one contact with anything like some soil, then it will impact the environment. So depending on the nature of the chemical spilled, and those dangers could be, what are the slip, trip, and fall are very, very common. If for example, there is a spillage on the floor, and if you didn't saw, then you might be trip and slip. So then contamination of the other material. It might be soil, it might be in water, anything. Then risk of the fire. This is associated generally when there is a flammable hazard. If there is, for example, CNG, so it obviously will directly impact to the fire hazard. And then contamination of the environment, like water, soil, and maybe something like a gas, for example, S2S. If somewhere is S2S, it will impact to the air. So it will also have overall air contamination. Then what are the route of exposure? How it gets into your body? Different process. First, inhalation, very common, one of the most common thing. I have given so many times one example that happened in Bhopal. One gas leaked. That called methyl isocyanate. That one of the major reasons for that was inhalation, because there was not proper PPE and everything. So where there all the workers working there, when that gas leaked, they inhale that gases, and that consequences lasted more than 20 years in that area. Generally affected the women that time who is pregnant, their baby generally born with disabilities. Very bad actually. Then injection sometimes, if there is some injection having some in term of biological term, so if same the injection you got accidentally or intentionally, then maybe you will have this communication problem. This disease is ingestion and the absorption. details we will go through. First, how it inhalation. Many chemicals and other hazardous substances releases fumes, that gas form, vapors and tiny particulates. And if they exist in your air, if you inhale, because we need oxygen for survival, so same will go to your lungs. Next, breathing these can cause severe respiratory problems. It will impact your lungs, maybe directly or maybe for the prolonged period of time. Then injection. Even enter the body through cuts or skin. In the open skin, injected routes let the contaminant straight into your blood stream, because they are near where blood is flowing throughout our body. Often leads to severe health problem. And nose if someone suffering from any blood related issue, then it's fatal actually. Then ingestion failing to properly remove the contaminated clothing and waste hand. So it will for example, if for example, if someone dealt with the chemical spillage and he has not properly washed his hand, and there is some food items served by housekeeping team and someone team, and he just ate and celebrate for the moment that wow, we have dealt with the spillage cases. But fortunately, since he has not maintained his hand and washed properly, maybe he will have ingestion issue. So then last, absorption. That term itself something absorbed. So not using PP and not properly cleaning once down, many chemicals can easily seep through the many layers of the skin into the bloodstream and cause a severe skin disorder. So these are the mainly four, starting from inhalation to absorption. So what are chemical dangers? Why are chemical dangers? The majority of chemicals we use in our industries are hazardous to human health or the health of the environment. For example, coming to laundry person, they are using one very hazardous chemical that called,
The dry cleaning chemical.
Yeah, exactly. What is the exact name? Because you are working there, that's what I'm asking. Anyone from laundry except the manager?
Laundry supervisor?
Yes.
Beekman, you know the name of the dry cleaning?
Chemical. Ethylene. Yeah, exactly. You are half part in the end. Perchloroethylene. Very dangerous especially for the respiratory problem. So you should have to know the consequences of what you are using. Otherwise, you will not take care properly. So you should have to know. So that's perchloroethylene. When you are using anyone, have a proper PPO. Starting from mask and then PP if he has, that is good. But otherwise, mask is mandatory. Mask and gloves is mandatory. So majority of the chemicals we use in our industries are hazardous to human health or the health of the environment. There are too many health effects that chemicals can cause. To list all of them are here. Just understand they are dangerous and cause immediate acute, that means, and long-term chronic symptoms. Take precaution or provided for when working with the chemicals. Obviously, if you have severe condition, if you have start feeling itching and something, visit to the doctor. That's very important. Why are chemicals dangerous? Continue. So chemicals are dangerous because first, chemical can be explosive. If acid and base react, it will explode. Even though the final product is neutral, that's water, but still during the reaction they will explode maybe sometimes. Then chemicals can be flammable. So many chemicals are flammable. Then chemicals can be corrosive. That means it will, if any metal come in contact with this chemical, the metal will start deteriorating. Chemicals can kill animals and the environment. So many cases happen generally in oil spillage when it's happened in any ocean or somewhere. Most of the aquatic life suffer due to this. Then chemicals can cause burns. For example, acid. When one of my colleague, you can say one of the classmates, she is pursuing BMS. So she was doing some sort of activities with the SCl, sulfuric acid, and she was just making fun. Unfortunately, I don't know how, because I came to know from other friend that acid splash has just come onto his face and then on his leg. Half of his face burnt. All the skin and his hair, someone said it become deep hole, because SCl is very, very high concentrated acid. If it's 97%, it's very dangerous. So this is why we should have to take care of these when we are dealing SCl, any acid especially. SCl, HNO3, that's called nitric acid, and then sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Chemical can cause severe respiratory disease in case of perchloroethylene. That's why important to wear the mask. And mask should be N95, but that's one called respirable based mask. Not common, just we are using sometimes when you are dealing like this, not good for when you are using perchlorate. Chemical sensitization, obviously maybe skin and eye, something. Chemical can cause death. So how to prevent spillage in the workplace? So coming to this, only purchase and store the quantity of material needed to perform the work. This is actually important when it comes for the store as well as when dealing. For example, if you need 100, it's better to keep 100. I know we have to have backup, but it's good because if you have a larger quantity of chemical, if something happens, then it will be very tough to handle that in that situation. So least will be least, you can just risk. Where reasonably practical, buy only the least hazardous material, because storing is itself challenging for the hazardous material, anyone. Where reasonably practicable, but buy only the non-hazardous material. Minimize traffic in the storage area. Traffic means don't purchase so much in huge quantity that now you have to no space and you are just piling up. We have seen this. Generally we are piling the chemical, which is actually not, practically it's not good. As per standard, any piling of any chemical or non-hazardous, it should be not more than 1.5 meter, nearly 4 feet, 4.5 feet, not more than 4.5 feet. Store liquid waste in the secondary container. Why? If there is any spillage, it will be there in that spill tray itself. Regularly inspect shelving and the container integrity, obviously, otherwise maybe you have pushed some accidentally, if the chip tray is not having good integrity, maybe it will break. The last behavior of evacuation, routes and emergency equipment. This is very good and very important. Everyone who is working somewhere, he should or she should know where is the exit, emergency exit. Because when something happens, generally human beings become panic. So in the panic situation, you should have some sort of a team member who have this awareness. It will save everyone's lives. Generally, I think yesterday we also have one cases there in a fire alarm.
So, yesterday fire happened in the central
yes.
kitchen.
So
This is related to gas leakage. But during the emergency, we may forgot what to do.
exactly.
Panic, and whatever we learn, the practically it is not same as.
Exactly. But we should have to keep reminding us. At least it will, maybe it will impact or help someone at least. So can I manage this spillage? First thing, because when you are dealing with the spillage, these some points you should have to be keep in your mind. First, quantity, how much actually it is spillage. Don't be always Superman, because sometimes you should have to, because Superman also have one, I think, what is called kryptonite, sir?
Kryptonite.
Exactly. So everyone have some, you can say, weakness. So quantity, is the spillage less than 1 gallon? Then familiarity. If you are very familiar with this, it means therefore we have individual section. We have a spill response team. For example, in laundry we have a spill response team. In DG area we have a spill response team. Everyone, and mostly as we consider they are the one who can deal if any situation. But if something is worse than, then you should have to go through the process. I have show you. I will show you. Then safety, how safe it is, and a spill kit. Is there any spill kit available in that designated? This is very important. I think everyone knows here what is a spill kit. I think, Anna? Okay, good. Then what is a spill kit? Coming to this. A spill kit is a collection of well-organized set of equipments, and that equipments have different things. I will show you in the next slide. And designed to effectively manage and clean up the spill of various substances, maybe hazardous as well as non-hazardous. Spills, what are the generally in our what are the generally sensitive areas? Starting from bulk fuel storage areas, we have 2 bulk fuel storage areas, and for your just one store bulk fuel tank having 75,000 of liter capacity of diesel. So if we have 10 of like that, it means 7,50,000 liter we are storing there. Just see if nose billah, if even one got ruptured or just burst, then how it will be disaster, nose billah. Then hazmat and the hazmat storage facility, generators, workshops and warehouse and sewage storage tanks. We have there, it's in the commissioning phase. Then an example of chemical spill kit contents. Broadly we will go in the shed. What are the contents generally we have in our spill kit? Starting from first we have this bin that having wheel generally. Why it's having wheel? To carry easily. Otherwise it's something you should have to just put on your shoulder and then you have to. But since it's a wheel you can carry. So then absorbent socks. There are 3 different type of absorbents in our spill kit. One is absorbent socks, one is absorbent cushion, and one is yes. I'm asking you. There are 3 absorbent.
Yeah.
Name them.
Socks,
Okay, good.
cushion,
Good.
and pad.
Exactly. Very good. There are 3 types. I will show you that. Then we have absorbent pads and container of loose materials. Then we have a dustpan and brushes to clean up the spillage, and once we are done with the finished, thank you. Disposal bags and the ties, and the last personal PPE, that's the personal protective equipments. See, this is a spill kit inspection checklist. Very important when you have any spill kit in your area. Otherwise, might be you are not well aware, maybe sometimes someone have used your absorbent socks and we have no knowledge about that. So in this case, you will face issues when actually the situation happens. So this is our NRC1 spill kit inspection checklist. Starting from in which month you are doing, you should have to mention here. Then what is the frequency? Generally, we are doing here weekly wise. So in the generic question is first is the container clean and free of damage? You should have to make sure that your spillage itself not leaking and having any broken part. Is the spill kit clearly marked and visible? There should be what type of spill kit you have, like chemical or iron. It should be properly marked. Then general. After that, we have different type of sections. First for the absorbents. What are the absorbent stocks? How many? You have to write the quantity on which date like this. I have already showing here filled one so that for better understanding. So you have to mention the quantity and on which date you have done the inspection. You just follow like this. And yes and no, if the same date, if you have all this, you can put yes. If you have something missing, you can put no or less, just put the remarks here. Okay, so PP, and then you can see this is absorbent stock. The large and the cylindrical one, pipe-like structure, you can say that's called absorbent stocks. And this is called cushion. We are very used to when we are using especially the sofa, this cushion. And then that's absorbent, that thin one called absorbent. You can see this is also absorbent pads. And this is socks. And the last one is cushion. So how to manage ice spillage? This is very important part of this training. First, decide if you hold the requisite information. For example, if there is any spillage, if someone is not very much, you can say trained, then he has one document. Through that document, he can get so much ideas. You know what is that document? Anyone can say?
What's that? On the documents
That
tell us about
document,
the
yeah, there is. You can see on that document there are so many technical. I will hint you. It has 16 sections. Already I have given. MSDS. Exactly. That's all MSDS have 16 sections. So if from wherever this happen, even the trained person will go first. He will review the MSDS because MSDS will give information what type of chemical is this, what is the composition, and what is the temperature. Everything is there. So he will obviously going to review the MSDS. Prepare the cleanup plan of action. The one who is trained, he will go and see the situation. He will first review and check the MSDS. As according, he will respond. If there is a possibility of acute respiratory hazard, then if you need resistance to clean respiratory, for then in that case, you should have to go through the proper PPE. Starting from body, there we will have a proper coverall. That coverall might be 2 types. One is disposable, and next is chemical resistant based. So whenever you are dealing any chemical, always wear chemical resistant gloves. Oh, sorry, coverall. Always. Don't go with the disposable. Next, if anyone is injured or contaminated, because of that incident, if something happened, here we have paramedics. I will show you one step how you have to respond on this equation. But in case of any health issue, someone got injured or something, you should have to go through the channel. I will show you that. Otherwise, you can directly contact to the clinic or the paramedics. How they will go, we have the procedure. Then make sure to always wear a PPE provided to you. Safety containing the spillage. When you are doing, obviously, there is when anything happen, any spillage happen, there is 2 things. First, the one source, and the second is a spread. First, from where it generated and where it will impact or affect. So when there is to stop, first important to stop the source. For example, if someone responsive went there, he saw that a drum is lying and the continuously chemical is leaking. So first, how will do the source? He will lift up that drum, so it will not further leak. So close the wall if possible. Shutting down the pump to stop the flow if something like, for example, STP. So you should have to make sure that all the pump is in the lift station especially. Then bandaging the leak in the hose. If you can put any bandage so that it will stop, then you should put a reposition to the leakage container. So you should have to transfer this. Then to stop the spread, not further it will escalate. Build an absorbent barrier around the spillage. How we will show you. Make sure that there is a fencing done around the spillage. Create a flow channel. Flow channel means you should have to know how should it and then how you should deal with this. And use absorbent cushion and pads to soak up the main body of that spillage. Okay. So how we can use absorbents and what are the cleanup process? First, I also have a video tutorial for better understanding after this. First, we will go through the one by one, then we will have a video representation. So, absorbents should be distributed over the entire spillage area, working from the outside and circling in the inside. First, you should have to make in circle around the spillage, then so that it will not further travel or spread. Then you should have to make sure that it should be properly contained in that. After that, you can use any absorbent. Since we don't, here we are generally not using the soil or something. Why? If you use the soil, it will further contaminate, then you should also have to go through the other things. But in case you can use this one. Here you see someone has used the soil. That's also one of the practice we use when we are dealing with any spillage. But here we have absorbent, one especially the socks, as well as socks for the fencing. Then we have the pads to soak and the cushion for both problems. When spilled material have been absorbed, use a brush and a scoop too. You can see here, once after done with the process of containing and then putting and soaking, and he is cleaning with the brush. Then complete the required hazardous level, obviously very important. When you are dealing and when you are first removing and cleaning that, you should have to properly put in the what we call trash bin or your plastic. In that, it should be properly labeled. Everything should be there. Date of incident, what type of waste, it should be. So that everyone who see that, he knows that this is actually a spill. Iron for the collection, and that's very common, generic. Next. Just in this. Just see this one. This is the one point I will show you. He has not
stop the
written, I will
source,
clear this
so
one.
the spill doesn't get any worse.
You see here the source. He just lifted the source.
Plugging it or turning off the tap.
This is what?
Thirdly,
Pads.
protect the spill water. A
Sock.
spill check sock is a great way of doing this.
He's fencing around.
Place it in front of the spill so that it doesn't go any further. Once contained, you can now take your time and notify someone. For large spills, you may need to notify the local pollution response helpline. For smaller spills,
Here we have the different
normally it's a case of just
I will
calling the
let you
manager to let you know what you're doing. The fifth step is to
He's
clean
using
up.
the sand. We can use
Use the contents of
the
your
socks
spill
as well as
to
cushion.
clean up the spill
Cushions and
effectively.
pads.
If you're using a loose
First he is
absorbent,
pushing.
start from the outside edge of the
Here
spill
for this we
and work
can
your way to the
further use
center.
pads as well as socks.
Give the absorbent a couple of minutes to do its job. This is a good time to get your contaminated waste bag out of your spill kit and your brush and pan ready for the cleanup. Once it's had a chance to absorb the spilled liquid, then use a broom to move the absorbent back and forth through the spill to clean up as much as you can. The brush and pan can now be used to clean up the spill absorbent and place it in the contaminated waste bag. Once completed, you need to dispose of your spill appropriately. Contact your local waste disposal contractor and ensure you label the spill as contaminated. The final step is to restock and review. It's important you share your knowledge so that the spill doesn't happen again.
So I think most of the point is now clear now. So one thing you just see is he is not wear the PPE. But when you are dealing with any chemicals, it is must to wear. Okay, so that you will not have any respiratory issues. At the end, he said documenting. Very important when you are when you have any incident, first there is a process. We have notification documents. First we have to notify. Here we used to notify our client that this situation happened. Briefly we will just mention all the situation. Then in our 72 hours, we should have to submit this report that's called detailed investigation report. In that we all goes from the root cause, how it happened, who is the responsible person, all these things mentioned there. If all this process you have already documented, always keep the place you can the essence where you are storing document. Why? Because if same happen, if someone want to review how previously what previously happened, he can get all the scenario on the situation. So maybe he will prompt or respond in a better way. Okay. So safety managing flammable. If I am specifically mentioning flammable because it's very dangerous. So coming to this, if there is any flammable, if possible, as I said, first you should have to stop the source. So in this case, source is mainly LPG or something. You should have, if possible, first close the valve to stop further spread. Then where the PP is supplied when the spill, generally PP is given to you. Otherwise, if you not, then you can purchase from other market, from other places, so that it should be with you. Then lay chemical spill pads over the spill substances and allow the pads to completely absorb the liquid. Place the used pads into the supplied plastic disposal bag. Wipe up. Almost same point what we have seen in our video. Almost same point. Dispose here we are disposing through some of the vendors called generally approved by the Neom. They are the one who is actually dealing with this. So once we contain all this spill, we store some in our storage area. Then we will brought that service provider. He will take and dispose of. He will give you certificate. First, any waste you are disposing, there is a document that should be maintained in the initial. That's called waste manifest. Very important. We have waste manifest. In this I have not, but when I given the waste management, and that I have shown you what are different part of manifest. You should have to fill each and every part. Then you have to check with give the same copy to the one who is taking transporter. That means he will give you return back you the waste disposal certificate like this. Then what to do after spillage is cleaned up. Almost these things I have already discussed. First, the absorbent material now have the very same hazard. Obviously, when absorbent is clean, not contaminated, it is safe. But when you have clean any spill, now it itself becomes the hazardous. So obviously, it will also be treated like as hazardous. Okay. So next, safely dispose of all contaminated, decontaminated, all non-disposal items, broom, shovel. It should be properly washed. Okay. If not possible, if you have already dealt with like perchloroethylene, then dispose of that shovel and that broom and everyone. Okay, because that cannot be decontaminated. There should be properly managing. Report the spillage. Review the what happened. As I said, that there is a two method: incident and then investigation. And ensure the supplies used to clean up the spillage and replace immediately. We usually do with the service provider. Okay. Then what to do if any emergency situation happens, then what we should have to do, what to respond. Take care of your own safety first. Your own safety is important, because if you are safe, then only you can help others. I think everyone knows this. Generally, we are getting this brief in the you can say airport when we are fly. Then generally the attendant used to give this. Air hostess used to give this. Always she will tell you that first save yourself. For example, if there is a need for the oxygen, first put oxygen mask to yourself first. Otherwise, you first got unconscious, then you are not going to save anyone else. Immediate activate the building fire alarm system. This is very important. If there is happening associated with the fire hazard, then it's very important that you should have to start. Here we have the automated system. So generally we don't need this. Automatically it will start. But in case if manually you need, I think we have the process to start manually. Here, fire alarm system.
Manually also.
Manually also, no? Okay. If anyone come into bodily contact with the spilled material, immediately remove any contaminated clothing and flush their skin with the plenty of water. Generally we have one called eye wash. In chemical especially. There we have water. If something get into your eyes or face, you can wash at instant of time you can wash your. But in each case you should have to visit to your doctor. Doctor is the one who will confirm you whether it's good, or you should have to take further treatment, especially skin care or whatever. Okay? Call emergency services, we have the different process. I will show you. Then head to the nearest emergency assembly point. We have different assembly point in different section.